What's up guys, this is Jack at Jack's Patch, all things permaculture, how to grow organic veggies, upcycling, zero waste. So this video is going to be on potatoes and how you can use free resources like these fold out pallets to grow your potatoes in. So here you go. Right guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to do a potato planter out of fold out pallets. Fold out pallets you can get from scaffold yards, Gumtree, eBay, local boot sales, local building sites if you ask. If they don't meet like health and safety regulations, or they're a bit old and tired, that you're likely to get them for either free or for a really small price. So I've got a couple that I got from a building site, all the same brand, but I've got two here. I'm looking to do potatoes in here, so my idea for this is to stack two high. On the second one we're going to cut a door, so you're going to need a hinge on this side for a door, and then I'm just going to use this little bracket just to cover it, and then when it's ready we'll undo the screws and then we've got a door. So with the potatoes I've got the manure in there at the minute, and I just need to add more compost and soil, but we'll do that in a minute. We'll do the door first, and then I'll show you where we go from there. Okay. Right, the beauty of this one as well is where it is already hinged, like on the corner. All I have to do really is just put a I'm just going to put a bracket like there and there, just bolt it in, and then when the time's ready I just open it up, and then I know it's going to be compact with soil, but if it's time for harvest for the plants, as I'm going to plant them all at the same time, I should be able to access, instead of digging down like people do and they constantly find potatoes year after year, I'll be at the source of where the potatoes will be, so it should be easy access to harvest. I like this way because I like to do potatoes growing up, I can control it, and I think this is going to be a really effective way. I've seen other ways on YouTube that I wasn't really best pleased with. Like I've seen people grow them in tyres, and me being probably a bit too anal with it, but I'm not too sure whether with tyres where they heat up, maybe some chemicals within the tyre might seep into the soil and actually like taint the soil in a way, and it could taint taste, which it might be me overthinking, but I think is that when you like put any chemical in soil and heat to a petrol based chemical like a tyre, like rubber, I'm not really too keen on it, but this way is like a great way to upcycle these things that are getting thrown out, burnt, chucked, going in the skip, and I just think this is a perfect way of doing it. All I've literally done there is just drill a jigsaw hole. I've not had to like build anything. These things come, they sit on top of each other. All I've got to do is put a bracket there. I control what goes in here with my manure, my vermiculite, my compost as well, and then what makes a really easy job for me to just add the potatoes and then just wait, and then when those potatoes grow, I add another layer on, another box on, because you're meant to add more compost on top as they grow and cover the stem, and then obviously like more shoots will come out sideways for the potatoes. So yeah, next part. something as basic as these brackets. These are just from the German supermarket Aldi. Really basic, but you can pick these up from any DIY stores, and I mean that is as basic as it's going to get through a door. And now all we have to do is just add. So we add another box on top, which I'll show you, and then all I've got to do is add my compost on top of that, and then we'll get the potatoes in, and then over time you add another box, add more compost, and this is when the stems just get a bit bigger. And then once it overflows and it becomes abundant, and time will tell when it comes to harvest, you'll see I think it's like I've not done potatoes yet, but I've heard the browning of the leaves makes you recognise when is best time to harvest. And then then we just undo this bad boy, and then hopefully we should have an abundance. Right guys, so in that last bit of the video, you saw me cutting the potatoes in halves, and this is a day later. So what I've done, for example, you cut it in half as, say, like for example, let's get this one potato out. So the eyes on that one were on that side of the potato, and it still had eyes on the other side of the potato. So I want to use both. And by cutting it in half and then waiting a day, you let this side dry out, and then now you have like 2 lots to plant instead of just one, and then you'd lose that one because it'd be facing down. So we're going to be planting these with the sprouts facing upwards. And what I've done, I've not got a lot of space to work with, but I've done little trenches. I mean, the more space apart you've got, the more probably space you've got for the potatoes to grow into. But on the allotment, I've only dedicated like this sort of space for potatoes. That's why I've not got loads, but I'm seeing that if they will work this way, and I'm not looking to get loads and loads. I just want to get like a good amount, like a good abundance of this variety. And where I can plant up, I've controlled the soil by using a good quality light fluffy compost, as well as manure, and these the vermiculite in for good drainage. So it's nice, it's rich, it's loose, so easy for the potatoes to grow into. So now we're just gonna like plant them spaced apart. I've only got so many, but just wanted to explain why I cut them in half. Like this one's an example of like a before, but the sprouts have come up, have congregated on one side. So if there was eyes on the bottom, that would have come out like there or there, for example. I would have cut the potato in half. But as you see in that last bit, it's really vibrant, like really deep purple, and that's what I'm excited to get out of these, instead of just getting a potato that you could get from the supermarket. I've done an Instagram post today about diversity, where we've lost 94% since the 20th century of seed variety. So all that diversity, all that flavour has just gone completely from the planet. Like, we have been absolutely robbed of the whole, look, 94% of our cuisine is just gone. Like, once was on this planet, our great granddads, whatever, have probably tried stuff we'll never get to try, which is a mad shame. But you can still, species still can evolve. So like, for example, when I was on the farm in Australia, we had two vines of pumpkin, and they like intertwined and they like kind of intersexed and made a new vine that was just on that farm, which I found pretty awesome. So we had some pumpkin soup that was literally probably like the rarest pumpkin soup I've ever had. Yeah, and they just kept those pumpkins on the farm because it was like the personal like achievement, which I loved. So yeah, just gonna get these guys in now. Yeah guys, just a final recap. We've got the 3 inches of soil in, and then once the stems come up, we're going to put another box on top, add more compost, because once the stem comes up, the shoots will come off either side, create more potatoes. There's more compost for potatoes, and then as we can control the consistency of the soil, we'll make it nice and fluffy, so more potatoes can go shoot. Right guys, that was a step-by-step from 2 weeks ago. So from cutting the potato all the way to how you plant it, also cutting the upcycled fold-out pallet, and using these brackets, because as we said, we're going to open this door and hopefully harvest all the potatoes. But what I didn't do, which I think I've run out of battery, so was to show you that I put just some like hay as like a mulch on top, and it just keeps the temperature of the soil bang on, also retains a bit of moisture as well, also just doesn't pretty much scorch the soil that you just put in. But this is 10-12 days later after that video, and this is the result. So look, those shoots on top of those potatoes, those eyes have come up through like 3 to 4 inches worth of soil in that amount of time. So you give them the right conditions and this is what you get. I'm super pleased with the result, and I also love the purple coming up through the leaves as well. So this is exactly what I wanted. I didn't expect it to happen so quick. So if you follow, subscribe to me, later on we'll be coming like August, September, October, we'll be harvesting the potatoes and I'll show you exactly how this works. Thanks for watching.